you need is death? Nope. All you need is someone to explain this f***ing movie to me. That's all you need.
That is all you need.
Oh my goodness. So this is the kind of film where it will have its audience.
Yeah.
For sure. There are going to be people who are like, this thing is a brilliant masterpiece. And that's totally fine. I don't mean to sound condescending there. I mean, if this works for you, fantastic. But this is that kind of movie for me where when I talk to people, when I love something a little more eccentric, that isn't completely straightforward and does require some thought, you know, typically like an A24 type film. This is the kind of movie they're seeing. Mm. And I'm now on the other side of it, being like, I don't know what the hell this movie means or what's going on. You know, okay, so as far as the plot goes, there's this guy and girl that go around and collect these Irish folk songs because people want, I guess there's like a racket of doing this where you can sell them to collectors who just want like an original track, something that is completely their own.
Yeah.
A song that they go out and record, typically behind the people's backs or something. They like talk them into sharing their history with them and singing these rare folk songs. And then these people will like buy a copy of it. And they come across this woman who we know from the New Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. She played Sally Hardesty. They get this song and it ends up corrupting people. It's not an overly complex film, right? I do want to say that. It is fairly simplistic. Mm-hmm. But in its simplicity, I still didn't know what was going on. That said, and this is a huge caveat, this is an Irish film with Irish-speaking people for the most part. And even though they are technically speaking the language that we speak,
yeah,
we couldn't understand half of the words they were saying. And so much so to the point where about halfway in, we just gave up and put on subtitles, which we should have done earlier. Mm. Even with the subtitles on, at that point, maybe we just weren't going to get it. You know, maybe if we put them on earlier, something else would have happened. I honestly don't think so. But at that point, I was already so lost on what it all meant, what we were even doing. I was so checked out by the end. And once it finally ended, I was like, what the fuck was that?
I think I understand the movie somewhat. Like, there's a lot of themes. One of the big themes is stealing.
Cultural appropriation?
Well, it's like in a few different ways. And obviously love is a big part of it, too. Like, the trailer even has this line of love is a knife with a blade for a handle.
Yeah, it cuts both ways.
Yeah, so, and I do think that is, you know, definitely shown by the story and like what happens to the characters. I kind of liked the ending, but I definitely felt a bit confused. I do think, like you said, some of it has to do with the fact that we weren't clearly understanding the dialogue earlier on in the movie. But it definitely is a film that has, like, a message that it's trying to kind of... And that's fine. Like, I'm not against movies having, you know, some concept that they're like, this is, you know, a thought-provoking, like, art piece, basically.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I didn't love the film at all. I didn't hate it. I'm kind of just, like, in the middle on it because I don't feel that I really understood it that much, and I also don't feel like I vibed with it that much either.
I did not.
You made a good comment too. I didn't like the cinematography in this. I felt like there was like a lot of ugly shots, just not I don't know. And there's some interesting effects that happen that make things feel dreamlike, but not in the way, not in a way that I like. Which I know, like, I'm one person, but I think that the story could have, I think that they could have used the cinematography and the visual storytelling a little bit more to line up with, like, the story itself.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I didn't find that that was the case. It just felt like a very bland, like, looking movie with a really weird story. And to me, I think it has more balance when both aspects are there.
You know, as far as this goes with the story and the characters and all of that, I just felt like nothing fully was making sense to me as far as, like, the motivations of the characters, the romance. Like, there's something in this film that happens and then it, like, builds to something based on a romance that I just never felt. I never was connected to any romance between these characters. Like, I know that they're there, and just saying we're a couple doesn't make it romantic, right? There's no chemistry. There's no romance in this with those characters that I'm just kind of like, I can't buy into the climax if I never bought into your relationship.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Then the motivations are so unclear. Like, I don't know what the aim in the game is. I don't know why they're collecting these other than money and just an interest in it. But the stage is not set very well for me. I didn't understand them. I didn't understand the other woman that was also involved trying to get songs. I got a basic concept of it. Like, she was who they were going to, and she was, like, pointing them in the right directions kind of thing, and they were, like, competing against one another, and then, you know, whatever. Like, I got all of that, sort of. But I never really understood the motivations behind anyone's characters. And then there's a guy whose mom dies, and that's his whole driving force for the movie. But, like, he thinks someone murdered his mother, and he's on this, like, vengeful quest to, you know, make people pay for it. And it just, he's so nice about everything, and he never really commits to, you killed my mom, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. It just kind of, I don't know. It feels like what we see in the film is, I think someone murdered my mom, and that's kind of what they allude to I shouldn't say allude to. That is what they're saying is his driving force. But the way he is interacting with people, it feels like someone stole his wallet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't line up with where he should be at with it. And then he also has a reveal that, you know, attaches itself to these songs and when how he, is attached to them. And that for me also is something where it's kind of a shocking reveal to a degree, but then nothing comes of it from there. And I know that's supposed to kind of say something about the film because of, like, men versus women kind of stuff, but I don't know, man. I genuinely never understood the motivations for anyone or anything going on in this film. And that is where I'm always going to be lost.
Yeah.
I don't like feeling completely confused on where we're heading and why we're heading there.
Yeah.
Unless the film is tonally super bizarro and creepy as fuck. And, you know, like, I don't absolutely always have to know, right? Something like Possum, I bring this movie up a lot, where that movie is just kind of like an acid trip, but because it's so visually interesting, because it always feels so unhinged and so scary, and it feels like an actual trip into a nightmare, then I don't need to care as much
Yeah.
about the narrative. But I felt like we were focusing on the narrative, and that was such a driving force for the movie that the movie's 99% dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I'm not connected to any of it,
Right.
when I don't even know what half of what they're saying is, and then when I put the subtitles on and I still do get to know what they're saying, and I still don't know what the hell they're talking about,
Yeah.
it just makes me stare at the screen kind of blankly for an hour and a half. And remember, we checked the timestamp, and there was only like 5 minutes left, and I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, this movie's over? What has happened?
Yeah. It's definitely not going to be for most people, but as you said at the beginning, I think there's definitely going to be some people that it resonates with that are
there's going to be people who think this is like a masterpiece.
Yeah, they're going to be
Guaranteed.
super into it, and
Which, once again, that's not a knock on you if you think that.
No, it's totally
just,
fine.
Not for me at all.
Yeah, like I said, I just kind of landed, I guess, in the middle with it. Like, I think it has a cool concept. I don't feel like it was executed right to work for me. And I'm confused by things, but, like, I don't know. It could have been much worse, of course. So, I don't know. It's a hard movie to, like, because it's like, I think if you watch the trailer and it looks like something that's interesting to you, you should watch it and see.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to recommend it, but if you watch the trailer and you're like, nah, then don't.
I watched the trailer and I thought it looked kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I am sitting here like I would have rather not watched it. No, this is just not a recommendation for me, period. I didn't like this at all.
Yeah.
But, as I said, there is going to be... This is that kind of film. I hate to use the word, because people always knock me in the comments and say, you don't even know what this word means. This film felt pretentious as fuck for me. That's how it felt. And it's just, that's it. I don't know what it means though. So I can't make that claim. But if I did know what it was meaning, it's pretentious. All right, I'm done. This is a big no for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. You're undecided. I'm not.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, if you do watch it, let us know, and also let me know what pretentious means, because I'm so confused on this word. I clearly don't know what it means. All right. Bye.
Bye.